Hi! Hi guys! So today I want to share the secret sauce for compliance to an order you issue as an executive, to any of your juniors, of your staff, anybody. Truly, if I knew this datum when I started my career in different areas of life, it would have made me more happier in life, more satisfied, less stress, more competent, more effective, and will get more jobs done than the ones that I got done. Okay, so I tell you a story, right? So I used to be the executive of an organization, and I used to have around 15 people under me. And, as an executive, as you know, you deal with all kinds of different personalities, right? They're all beautiful on its own way, but also they can be challenging, as one is also challenging for its own seniors, if you ever had one. And so I was so frustrated as an executive and really was done with positions of leadership because of my failure to handle personnel under me. And the people that work for me, I love them. It's interesting. I just developed like this personal attachment that when something goes wrong, it really hits me. So I kind of almost decided I did never want to be a leader anymore because my frustration, my failed purposes, the things that entail with it, right? So I was holding this post. I've never been an executive before, right? And I keep on, getting new people that wanted to work with me. So, I will get them hired. And but then I didn't really knew how to run them, right? I just I didn't knew what kind of position to take. I didn't knew if it was to be too soft, right? To consider it that I wasn't getting the job done, or too rough, right? In some cases, the people were very upset sometimes, or they were very happy but they weren't producing, right? Or you will ask for something to be compliant with, and you get a yes, but then nothing was done, right? So I want to share with you the secret sauce that I wish I knew before. And nowadays that I have it, work is a little more easier and pleasant when it's about running others, right? So I'm going to share it with you. And it comes from Mr. Hubbard. So, how do you issue instructions to staff or personnel? First of all, the first and number one step is that you have to have a definite, clear, and correct estimation of the situation. What does that mean? It means that if you want somebody to handle anything for you, you really need to observe and really fully understand what the situation is. If you don't have it and you're issuing an order based on some unreal situation, well, it's not going to be productive, right? You have to understand it better than anybody else. So when you issue the order, you know exactly what needs to be done and why it needs to be done and why those actions are important in order to handle, or correct a certain situation, better the situation, keep it the same way, etc., whatever changes you need to do. Now, so first have a clear and correct estimation of that situation, right? What you want to handle. Let's put an example. Let's see that you're a chiropractor and your patients for the week are low. Let's see that are 50% crashed. Okay, so you observe the statistics, you know your numbers, and you know that you need to be doing calling 2x or 3x the amount that you normally do because you need to fill those schedules, right? So you have your calling person. So before you start opening any kind of communication, you know exactly what's behind it. All right. Number 2, make a precise, properly communicative statement in writing of exactly what you want done. Now, precise and properly statement, right? What does that mean? Means do not put generalities. Just call people, call patients, fill the schedule. That's not precise. Precise means you have 3 hours and you need to fill, I don't know, let's just make up 50s, right? Of chiropractic adjustments. Okay, so you have 3 hours to make 50 appointments and 200 calls, right? So you're going to 50 appointments for both those 200 calls. I'm just making numbers up, right? But they're precise. You don't just go and say, hey, listen, our number of scheduling are down for the week. I need you to just pack the schedules. That's great, and that's the purpose. You know that. But how many slots do you have open, and how many calls do you need to do in order to fill those slots? Those are numbers you need to have. Otherwise, you don't know how much to tell your junior or your staff to do, right? So make a precise and properly statement in writing. What? In writing. Are you going to tell her, just go and do calls and fill the schedule? No, in writing. You write it up, right? So 3 hours to do how many calls and to schedule how many people. Start, right? And this is how many you have to do per the hour. Exactly. Per written, guys. Okay, you issue the order, you give it to your staff or to your personnel to do, right? Now what do? Now you go and sit back on your desk and then just know that it will be done. Flunk number 1, right? Do you expect that to be complied with? Flunk number 2. Do you sit on the side? Flunk number 3. Do you get upset because she didn't comply with? Do you days later find out she didn't do it and then just go and shout? Do you just go in apathy and say, what the hell, staff is always bad? Flunk. You know what you do? And this is the secret sauce, guys. I'm telling you, it works like clockwork. I've tried it and freaking A has changed my life. So, once you make, number 1 was, once you have a clear cut and estimate of the situation, then you write in writing, in a piece of paper with ink, either in computer, handwriting, I don't care, as long as it's clearly written and somebody else can understand it, precise what you need and want. And guess what you do in the next day? You reissue it. And then what you do? You reissue it. And then what you do? You reissue it. And there are no other steps. Right? What happens normally in life, and that, raise your hand if it has happened to you, but you find out late in the chain that the person didn't comply with what you asked them. Let's see that it was doing calling and filling your schedule. You find out that there's 10 openings for the following day. You're so upset, you start getting like hot, right? And maybe just not being so friendly with that staff member, maybe a little upsetting, right? And then you go home and you are not a happy camper, and that's the way we normally operate, right? Now, it's very issue. What you have to do is the following. You have to inspect. Let's see that the first hour came through, right? She had 3 hours to do 200 calls. So I'm doing just numbers. First hour, you check in. Okay, Mary, how many calls have you done? Oh, 5. Well, you have, what is it? If she had to do 200 and she did 5, 195 calls to do in the next 2 hours, right? So you inspect, and then check that it has been done. If it hasn't, you write it up again and you reissue and give it to her in her hand, right? Let's see that the 3 hours came through. Nothing happened. You reissue the order, right? She has to go home. Well, she has to figure it out because she has to fill those slots up. You reissue the order. And what do you do the next morning? You inspect, and if she hasn't done it, you reissue the order. That's it, guys. That way, you're not up and down. You're not upset all day long. It doesn't affect your personal and family time, right? So, Mr. Hover says, every time you issue a direct, precise, and orderly order, you may generate a confusion, right? What does he mean by that? She might say, well, I tried, you've been telling me to fill in the schedules. COVID is really hitting heavy. I can't do it. I've been trying and I have to do this and there's other work to do and I can't do those calls. There's all this confusion coming out. What do you do with that? Do you answer it? No. You acknowledge, say, thank you, Mary. Here's the order. You need to fill in 50 slots for this week. Okay, I'll check on you later. That's it. You disappear and then check back. The confusion is all the whys. That person can't do it, the upsetness, it's called confusion, guys. It runs out, meaning it just gets out of the way as the order is repeated over and over. So you come back and you can make as many photocopies you can. I normally put a number on it to know how many orders it took me to issue in order for the person to comply to it. Right? So I put numbers, reissue number 1, reissue number 2, reissue number 3, but you put exactly the same order. You don't change anything, right? No different words, nothing. You just reissue it. So every time you issue a direct, precise, and orderly order, you may generate a confusion, right? You run it out. It runs out as the order is repeated over and over. The more you put it on the desk, it's going to come into a point where she's not going to talk anymore. She's going to be on that phone because she knows you're not going to want to go away. Now, the reasons why, on quotation marks, the order is hard to understand, on quotation marks, is the runoff of a confusion. What do I mean by that? All these reasons why she can't do it, why it's hard to understand, she's running the confusion out. It's a process. It's like a little system. You keep on issuing the order and a lot of confusion is blowing out. Don't go out and do something else with the confusion. What do? You just issue the order again while keeping good communication and affinity with that person. That's it, guys. That is the secret sauce. I really will hope you try it out because I'm not joking. It took years for me as an executive to understand the simplicity of the secret sauce. And to know I didn't have to get mad. And to know that getting mad was not going to change the situation, but maybe getting it worse. So I hope this little tip helps you the same way it helped me. Have an outstanding issue of orders and have fun with it.